Tuesday here on 2822 Sports Night, presented by Hyundai, exclusively on the 2822 Now app, 8 to 9, Monday through Thursday. You can also find us on the Apple Podcasts app if you want to drive to work or you're just hanging out after a long day in the office and you want to catch up on everything sports. Ricky and I always have you covered, and also try to make you laugh a little bit, talk about some non-sports related things, whatever comes to my mind. That's usually how this thing flows, is I think of something, I blurt it out, and it leads to a 15-minute conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with sports. But that's what makes this thing fun. And we're in the time of year where Christmas is right around the corner, and I'm going to start rambling about Christmas things. Because, and this would have been, I know we had the discussion last week about the Chick-fil-A peppermint shakes.
Yes.
I haven't had one in a while.
My mom recently said she got one for the first time.
First time ever?
Yes.
Mrs. Turner.
Yeah, she did.
She watching?
I believe so.
Is she watching?
Yeah,
I hope you enjoyed it, Mrs. Turner. What a treat that is, the peppermint shake. I'll need to, you go home, and maybe she'll text, or you go home tonight and you ask her 1 to 10 what she rates it. I want to know an answer.
I think she liked it. She said it's not like the McDonald's peppermint shape.
The Shamrock shake that they have, those
like
green
the artificial
ones.
Peppermint. It's very. I think it's very thick milkshake. It's not.
The best part about it is the crushed up candy canes.
Yeah, I think she did.
You take a little sip of it, and then you get some of that crunch feeling in your mouth.
Yes.
Describing a drink is a little weird. We're going to stop myself real quick before we get any deeper into this. Good drink. Fantastic beverage. Worth the $6 every single time. Unless you're on like 10 or 11, which...
How's your...
I might be falling by. You know what?
I was going to say, how's your friend doing? Because he was on, what was he on, 12?
I'm going to text him right now and see, how many shakes are you at this season? Except he is a Duke basketball fan, and they were just recently losing to a... What were they losing to? Lipscomb? Is that how you say it? Lipscomb?
Yeah.
They're losing to Lipscomb, which you shouldn't be losing to Lipscomb if you're number 3 Duke.
They
had the lead at halftime by 3.
Top 5 projected pick, and well, they're not losing anymore.
Are they blowing them out now?
It's 90-64.
All right, so the Blue Devils were just messing around in the first half and then got to business.
It was 48-45 at the half, and
it was a 10-point lead at one point.
Let's just say it's now the second half has not gone as planned. Duke is more than doubling their score.
Makes sense.
42-19.
He's a quick responder. I'm literally about to order one right now, probably 13 or 14. I've slowed down a bit. They've been out since November 10th. They've been out for a little over a month. That's a couple of weeks.
Yes, that's
more than a couple of weeks.
That is.
When it comes to delicious Christmas treats, what are some of the rituals in the Turner household when it comes to traditions and baking together? Was that something that you enjoyed when you were a kid?
No.
Were you one of those people that would make the sugar cookies for Santa and actually try to like design something cool? Or was it, let me see how much frosting and sprinkles can I fit on this cookie, and absolutely no, direction whatsoever? Just cover the thing in frosting and then scoop of sprinkles.
When I did it, there was no artist there or thought going into it, as you said, with the frosting and just throwing sprinkles on there.
What'd you do with your sister too? Would she get mad at you?
See, we never really baked.
Okay.
My mom now usually bakes ricotta cookies.
Nice.
So that's usually
takes care of it. Sugar cookies or what kind?
Just ricotta, the Italian cookies.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, I didn't hear that. I know what you're talking about. It's a good treat.
Yes, it is. They're really good.
Now, where do you guys typically do Christmas? Is it at your house?
Yes, it's been at our house.
Eve and day, or just day?
Just day. Eve is usually at my mom's brother's house.
Okay.
So yeah, usually Christmas is at our house.
And all the family comes over and what, ham? Ham, turkey?
Yes, ham.
Ham. That's the big Christmas dish, I think, right?
Yeah, I love the ham.
Does ham have that stuff in it that the turkey has that makes us tired? I know we were trying to figure that out a few weeks ago for Thanksgiving.
I don't think it does.
No?
Not that I know of.
All right, we'll have to test it out. Well, I can't test it out this year because the Lakers and Broncos both play 8 o'clock this Christmas.
Well, the Broncos game might not be as entertaining, though,
If they're down 14-0 with a chance to clinch that 1 seed, there's certain Zelaya members that might not be very thrilled. Their Christmas is going to be ruined.
Yeah, you said that a lot off screen.
They better just handle business.
Animated.
They better be playing their backups week 18 against the Chargers. That's all I'm saying. Or father will not be very thrilled if he has to stress about.
Will that be good though? Your starters on 2 weeks rest without playing a snap?
Well, what the Chiefs last year? Because the Chiefs obviously did that because the Broncos beat them by 40. Were the Chiefs the 1 seed last year in the playoffs?
I think
in
it
the
was
AFC. I can't remember.
I thought it was Buffalo.
They had the 1 seed last year?
Yes, I thought it was Buffalo.
Because that makes a huge difference because then you're at least playing the following week in the wild card round. But like you said, if you're off 3 weeks.
Yes, I thought it was Buffalo who had the 1 seed.
Okay.
The Chiefs might have. I think the Chiefs still did rest, but I don't think they had a shot at the 1 seed.
Because then maybe you play them in the first half or something.
I was going to say.
Just to keep them warm and.
You
Because you
want
also
them
got to think
sitting
about
for
injuries. You don't want to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But
Especially with what happened this weekend in the NFL and the amount of injuries there were to Mahomes and Parsons and Devontae Adams. Those are the 3 big players that went down with injuries. And Adams, I don't know. He's not listed as out for Thursday Rams-Seahawks just yet, but on a short week, I would imagine it's tough for him to go out there.
Short weeks, always tough.
Those aren't. I've talked with Mark Hiller. He pulled his hamstring once, and he said it was one of the most painful things he's ever experienced.
And that's not a 1 week. Hamstrings, I guess it varies on the severity of it, but that's at least probably a 2 week, depending on the severity. It's not, and it's something that lingers as well.
It's just such a big muscle.
Yeah.
And when you tear that or pull it,
Takes a while
to recover.
And then he could re-injure it down the road. It's just something that you have to keep treating. Those soft tissue injuries are a pain.
Yeah, no doubt.
Calf.
I am curious to see what Gardner Minshew looks like. I'm trying to think of who the Chiefs have this weekend.
The Titans.
Okay, well, good warm-up game for Gardner.
Yeah, good.
Good warm-up game for Gardner. That'll be good for. I mean, they got nothing to play for at this point.
No,
So
they're basically
the only implications at this rate are fantasy for people, and for some people are hoping that certain starters aren't pulled early on. Or Josh Jacobs in practice today. We know my lore for Josh Jacobs and fantasy implications.
He's been banged up. This guy isn't at a healthy week.
I feel awful. I mean, he's playing through it. He had 2 touchdowns last week, but that's why he had a ridiculous catch. That catch in the corner was unbelievable.
Toe tap.
That's why I've been stashing Emmanuel. I'm not dropping Emmanuel Wilson, just in case. Wilson might get a free ride to a ring. Just chilling on the bench. Good for him. He can get that. But no reason to drop him whatsoever. I'm trying to look up the Christmas Day slate now that we're talking about it. Broncos, Chiefs. Yeah, that's a nightcap. Cowboys, Commanders. Nothing important in that game.
God.
Lions, Vikings. I guess the Lions. I mean,
tough slate.
We were just chatting with.
I see the vision for the slate, but
yeah. Back in week 1, it looks juicy. All right, you got a team that just made the NFC Championship. Maybe the Cowboys are still in it. The Vikings just had a heck of a year last year against the Lions, who are this up-and-coming team. Broncos, Chiefs, AFC West. And now you've got 4 of the 6 teams that are already eliminated from the playoffs.
And the other one's hanging on for their playoff life. One of the Lions there.
The Lions, yeah.
And the Lions and the Cowboys.
I guess technically the Cowboys.
Cowboys are technically
You're right.
By the
3
rule
out of
law.
6. You're right. That's on me. 3 out of 6 are officially eliminated. There's a 1% chance that Dallas can reach the postseason.
Philly loses out.
Could you imagine that happening? Oh my God, the city would burn down.
Yes, Philly would not be happy campers.
I can't even fathom what would happen if they somehow blew that division to the Cowboys.
there would be some fire a lot of people trade a certain QB.
Oh my God, they would. Oh, it's like, yeah, I can't even imagine. And then yeah, like you said, the Lions, and they're in a must-win scenario at this point moving forward if they want to keep up with the Bears and the Packers in that division. And the fact that the NFC wild card, the two teams are 11-3 and 10-4 is ridiculous.
NFC again. This is one of the few years where I think the NFC, you could argue, is better than the AFC.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the depth of the teams.
No, I agree with that 100%. It's you look at the playoff bracket right now, and I think we're setting up for a really fun and also unpredictable NFL postseason because you're going to have a lot of talent in there, and it all always starts around the quarterback. But when you look at the quarterbacks in the playoff picture,
it's not your typical guy.
You don't have a lot of experience. You don't have a lot of experience in there between, I pull up the AFC right now. Bo Nix played one game. Drake May's never been in the postseason. Trevor Lawrence
was in the postseason. They gave the Chiefs a run. They won one game.
They won one game.
The Chiefs a run for their money, I think, in the next round.
Rodgers.
There we go. Experience.
He might have more games played in the postseason than every other quarterback in the AFC combined. Josh Allen bumps that number up a little bit, and I think Herbert's played in a couple of games himself as well. Same with Stroud. But overall, I mean, the teams you're going to have to go to is where the inexperience is going to come from. So they'll have their fans to back them up. Nix, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, but
Aaron wants a home playoff game.
Aaron might get a home playoff game.
Aaron has the experience and the crowd if they get there.
And that was a we'll get to that. I know
I'm less
a happy man last night. Not in the
first half, but
no, not the first half. I was
stressing.
I said it in my highlights last night at 11. I said fans of the under were smiling in the first half. Now I think the under did hit. Our good friend Nick Toma, he had the under, so he cashed in on that yesterday.
What was it? 44?
It was in the mid 40s, I believe. The final was 28-15, 43. Yeah. But the Dolphins were making it interesting. They were scoring a couple garbage touchdowns and bumping that number up. They just couldn't convert a 2-point. Honestly, if they converted.
Well, the thing is, they wasted so much time. I was telling you, I'm like, I was watching the game, I'm like, they're taking their sweet old time. They weren't calling timeouts. They weren't going hurry up. And then all of a sudden, late in the game, Troy's like, why are they calling timeouts now? They weren't running hurry up 5 minutes ago when they were down 25.
That team is they're lost.
Yeah,
I don't know where they go because they're paying him what, $240 million?
50.
Tua? Oh. And he might not start.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel.
Because he didn't play good enough.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel said anything is on the table. Now, he didn't look great. That interception, but again, his stats don't look bad, but I think a lot of that came in garbage time when they're down 28-3. And they finally opened up the offense, and Pittsburgh at that point was just playing prevent.
Well, I was telling you, you watch Tua in the pocket, and he's shuffling backwards.
Oh, that was
he's not taking a step up in the pocket to look and make a throw. Like he's moving backwards, and then he just stares, and he doesn't even throw the ball away. He just lets 3 or 4 Steelers collapse onto him, and there's nothing he could do.
Yeah, I also thought and it's rare I will say this. I thought Mike Tomlin was the more aggressive coach on the field last night. Going for it a lot on 4th and short. Connor Hayward had 4 carries for 4 yards and a TD.
And Big Raj in the background, just admiring it.
There's some fans out there that are asking why exactly he's on the field because they could put someone else out there, an extra pusher or a blocker, but they have just
working.
I don't know if they have a play where they're going to just toss it back to him and someone is going to go on like a streak or like an out route and it's a fake tush push, but there are some fans that are like, why is he on the field? He's standing.
He's not going to do anything. The old man doesn't like the physical. We saw what happened when he got pushed one time. He freaked out on
Broderick?
Broderick. Yeah, Broderick Jones when he shoved him.
Well, now Broderick's on the sidelines. He's the hype man. I don't know if you saw some of his stuff he said on the highlights. I believe it was against Baltimore. He was big. He's a good hype man. A lot of energy. Very youthful.
Well, good. Yeah, no, I definitely want to dive deeper into the Steelers game in just a little bit. We also the NBA Cup championship tonight, which reminds me, it doesn't matter for records or stats or anything. This is an 83rd game for each of these two teams, the Knicks and the Spurs. And then, like I said at the beginning of the show, God knows where this thing will go. Maybe I'll order a peppermint shake in the meantime. I don't know. Avery Nape is texting me, hey, if you get Chick-fil-A today, can you get me a classic sandwich meal with Chick-fil-A sauce and a mint shake?
Oh, there's one.
We've got to catch him up. Avery's got to have like 3 for the next 6 days.
18.
That's just a recipe for a trip to Geisinger.
Yep.
If that happens. All right. Let's take a quick break here on 2822 Sports Time. We'll be back in just a couple moments. All right, my competitor in the Peppermint Chick-fil-A shake competition just texted me. Yeah, I said he was going to order one. He asked, do I pull the trigger? His order on it, his order on his mobile app is, I'm glad it comes with a straw free. I guess the prices in New York City are a little,
yeah,
a little pricey.
How
Sometimes you
much
got to pay for your
8?
straw. $6.25 for a peppermint shake in New York City. He's also got a large fry on there. I'm baffled by this one. A 30-count Chick-fil-A Nuggets football-shaped tray. I'm worried about my friend.
Is he sharing the nuggets, or is he going to eat all 30?
Are all 30 nuggets for you?
That's a lot of nuggets.
That is a lot of nuggets.
Like a 15,
See
maybe
if you
20.
Get an answer back on that.
10 and 20.
Yes, LOL.
Okay. He's really hungry.
And leftovers.
Okay, so he's
Makes
planning
sense.
for the future.
That's smart. Smart financial decision. You got to be smart in New York City.
Hey, dude.
I was having this conversation with someone the other day about, both of us, we finished college and then we moved, you moved back home. I moved here to Pennsylvania. And I just wonder what it would be like to live in New York City. I would do it for 1 year. Living in New York City. Would you do that as well? Just to experience. I feel like you need to at least experience living in the biggest city in the country. It's got to be. There's people that I think do it. They stay. They love it. And then there's others that are like, I'm ready to get out of here. Like it's a disaster.
Yeah, I'm sure there's pros and cons. Obviously, there's a lot to do. There's never a weekend where you're like, you're here compared to New York City.
What do you mean? You're not active here every weekend and go to Lenny, PA?
You can be, but again,
you don't go spend Saturday nights at Boozers in Avoca, one of those underground bars.
Like, it's fun, but New York City, I feel like, there's always something going on. There's always somewhere different you can go. Here, it's more limited with where you can go and, who's there and the place you're going to. But, New York City, I feel like there's no shortage of that. Obviously, there's some issues surrounding like transportation and all that.
It's difficult.
Having to walk.
Oh, exercise.
Imagine having to walk in this weather.
Yeah, imagine eating 30-count nuggets. He's probably going to need to go for a little walk tomorrow if he eats all those tonight.
Probably.
You know what we need to do then? We got to bring New York City to NEPA.
I don't think that's a...
Let's create our own adventures. Like, what is there in New York City? Like, I have a great idea. Wait, do they light up like a big tree in downtown Wilkes-Barre for the season? We need a big-ass Rockefeller tree just in the middle of Wilkes-Barre.
I mean, I guess there's one in the, Courthouse Square, whatever, what the center of Wilkes-Barre is called. But I guess there is one there, but
not to that.
No, not to that.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta get everything that's in New York. Everything in New York City is just big. Everything is large. It's bigger in the Big Apple.
Skyscrapers in the middle of.
Could you imagine? Imagine if this building we were in was a skyscraper. We got 3 floors on here. Picture 53 floors. Yeah, I got to go talk to Ricky. He's currently on the 47th floor, setting up some interviews for our podcast later today.
there's also like, what the heck are we putting on all these floors?
Everyone got their own floor. It's like Russell Wilson when he signed with the Broncos. He wanted his own office and his own floor in the Broncos facility. And they accommodated him for that. Yeah. Do you remember that or no?
I think I do, yeah.
He wanted his own office space and his own floor so that he could work on his own business. That's what we should do. Everyone gets their own floor in WBRE. What would you do with it? How would you decorate it? Black and yellow everywhere?
Yeah, a lot of Steelers.
A lot of Steelers stuff.
A lot of Steelers.
Get a human-sized Aaron Rodgers cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Every day you walk in and be like,
or big Darnell.
Oh, that'd be a big one. That'd be a big cardboard cutout.
Darnell Washington.
Big Darnell. What happened last night when they passed him? I was saying it before we got on the game yesterday. 19 yards on the stat sheet.
After catch. No, it's
20. Oh, after the yak was 19. What do you have for the game? What do you think?
23, because I think his other one was like a bootleg. It didn't go for much.
His impact meant more than 23 yards.
People just...
They couldn't tackle him. And that happens every game. You can't bring that monstrous beast down on the football field. It takes 6 guys to bring him down.
I think I saw a tweet. Darnell Washington definitely leads the league in, what was it? FAC, fun after catch.
Yeah, I like that. Fun after catch.
Because he just doesn't go down.
No, he doesn't. And that's what I'm saying. You got to utilize him more. And then
try to chop him down.
Yeah, go for the knees. That's
what you have to do with him. You can't bring him. You try to go around the waist. He's
going to keep moving.
Yeah, you saw it. It took like 5-6 of them to just wrap him up.
Since Arthur Smith. A little creativity in the playbook yesterday.
Oh, he was in
Connor Hayward with the sneak, and you throw Jonnu Smith in the backfield and pitch it to him, and he goes 14 yards to the crib.
Yeah, Darnell had a big block on that way, too. He sealed the edge and allowed for, I think Jonnu Smith also said after the game, did he see that hole? You could have drove a truck through it. But yeah, Arthur was in his bag after that first TD drive to cap off the first half. Took him a little bit to get going. Slow starts sometimes happen with that Steelers offense. But yeah, I mean, after that, he was in his bag. I mean, that only a record Arthur Smith would set. Only first team in NFL history to have 2 tight ends have rushing touchdowns since the AFL-NFL merger.
What, so now I'm curious. The Steelers sit at 8-6 on the season. You got the Ravens at 7-7. Should Steelers fans feel confident they're going to win the AFC North now with 3 weeks to go?
As I told you earlier, cautiously optimistic. They're in a good spot. They're like 1.5, 2 games up because of that win versus Baltimore a couple weeks ago. Baltimore has a tougher schedule with the Patriots coming to their place, and then them traveling to Green Bay and then traveling to Pittsburgh in Week 18. They're playing well offensively. They're moving the ball. Aaron Rodgers the offensive trajectory is looking up, not down like it was at this time last year. The run game is working, but there are some downsides. You go to Detroit this week, and that is why I say cautiously optimistic, because Pittsburgh has had their opportunities to prove it against quote-unquote good opponents at points this year. They had the Packers at home. Earlier this season, they gave up 35, they gave up 30 plus. They had the Chargers on the road. Their offense sputters. A couple weeks ago against Buffalo, they have a chance there with Josh Allen, the Buffalo coming off a really bad loss. Their offensive line banged up. Buffalo runs for over 200 yards and beats them 26-7 at home because they couldn't stop the run. I'm not saying Pittsburgh needs to win this game. I'm saying if they can hang around with this Buffalo offense and they could stop and sputter this Detroit offense in game, if they can sputter them, then we could start talking. If they beat them, I'm gonna be talking different.
Yeah, you are.
I will be talking different about this team. I might start running my mouth a little bit.
I won't be here Monday, so I'm going to need a voice message or a little FaceTime call, and you can talk my ear off for 5 minutes. I'll give you that floor.
Okay.
Give you that opportunity to say your stuff.
Sounds good. But yes, I think they should be cautiously optimistic. I think they're in a good spot. But again, if we're being real about this season, and I said it before the season, and a lot of people have said it before the season, the goal of this team is to win a playoff game right now. They haven't done that in over 10 years. That is the goal. They're in a good spot right now, and if they keep playing at the trajectory they are, it's looking good. But TJ Watt's also hurt. Nick Herbig popped up on the injury report after the game with the hamstring injury. And we know how Mike Tomlin teams are sometimes when it comes to playing big-time opponents and also playing in the playoffs. But I think fans should be cautiously optimistic given the recent results. But they've won 2 straight for the first time since September. But I want to really see them against the Lions before I think put my final stamp of approval, because your last 2 games are against Cleveland and Baltimore after that at home. But I think even if they beat Baltimore, I'm still going to be wary about it, because I don't think Baltimore is that type of team this year compared to what they were last year.
Good litmus test. Good litmus test this weekend to see
yes,
where
it is.
The Steelers are in. It's funny because Steelers fans, you want to root for the Patriots, honestly, this weekend. Which,
unfortunately, yes.
A decade ago, thinking about rooting for anything New England seems like the last thing you would ever do. But now you're in a situation where you'd love to see the Patriots win on Sunday night, right? Sunday night game?
Sunday night. They moved out to Sunday Night Football, so that should be a fun game and a good test for the Patriots traveling on the road against the Ravens team that probably played one of its best games all year, shutting out Cleveland or Cincinnati.
The Patriots need to bounce back in a big way after what happened in the second half on Sunday, and for them to blow that 21-0 lead and lose to Buffalo. And I think they just need to win a game, and they clinch their division. I think that's all. They control their own destiny at this point when it comes to winning that AFC East. And the last thing you want to do if you're the Patriots is you fall to Baltimore. The Bills not find a way. I think they play the Browns this weekend.
Yes, they do.
Please don't find a way. Just win if you're Buffalo. They win, Patriots lose, and the AFC East is all knotted up. They split those 2 games, and both those teams will have an 11-4 record if it comes to that, which makes things a little more interesting if you're a Patriots fan. But ultimately, if you're a Steelers fan, you're rooting for New England to beat Baltimore and pretty much seal the deal if you can beat Detroit. Now, I'm trying to no, they wouldn't clinch. They would need to win another game, because if the Steelers win, they're 9-6. Baltimore falls to 7-9.
Yes.
Excuse me, not 7-9.
7-8.
7-8. They would still.
Yeah, Pittsburgh would be.
They need to win one more game, I think, right? To clinch the AFC North.
Pittsburgh cannot clinch this week. So Pittsburgh, if Baltimore loses this week and then loses next week to the Packers, and Pittsburgh wins both, I believe, then they should be good.
Then they secure that division title, and
yes,
probably the 4 seed is my guess. I don't think they're going to be able to catch up to one of those teams.
No,
in
they're
3,
probably in the 4 seed,
barring a Jacksonville collapse or New England Buffalo collapse. All right, let's take another break here on 28-22 Sports Night. Let's get some basketball after this, Ricky.
Yeah, we will.
Let's talk a little hoops after the break. We're halfway through this Tuesday edition of 28-22 Sports Night. All right, second half of 28-22 Sports Night, as always, presented by Hyundai and the 28-22 Now app. The NBA Cup Championship tipping off tonight between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. And again, this game has no implications on the standings or stats. It's all for fun. It's actually not realistically all for fun. There's a lot of money on the line.
Financial incentives.
As we like to call it, $1 million on the line for the winning team. I also do think the loser gets. I think they get like $500,000 as well. Which Charles Barkley was not a fan of the NBA Cup. He said there should be no reason to give players extra money for doing their job. He was not. Charles Barkley doesn't like he's not a fan of a lot of things, and
he likes
to be very argumentative.
Yes, he likes good old fashioned competition.
He does.
He thinks players should be out there playing for the love of the game and for your pride, just like the old days.
And I do find it funny that he's talking about championships of all guys, Charles Barkley. Yeah, I'm kidding. I got nothing against Charles Barkley. I think he's a cool guy, and he actually recently, I believe he was on the call with Dick Vitale a few nights ago for a college game. I think it was Kentucky and Indiana, and he donated a lot of money towards Dick Vitale's foundation. So a great gesture by Charles Barkley. But we were talking last week about the Thunder and their unreal, the season that they are having and the trajectory they're on towards the all-time record of the Warriors and their 73 wins and how eerily similar it looks. And then they proceed to lose to a San Antonio Spurs team in the NBA Cup semifinals that Victor Wembanyama coming off an injury, so he came off the bench, a minutes restriction and no restriction whatsoever for him. He was continuing to do what Victor Wembanyama does, and it's an alien. An alien's a perfect way to describe him and his play style. And you watch the highlights, and he's doing step backs from 3-point land, and he's running the point guard position and moving it up the floor, and you can just throw him up a lob, and he'll find a way to go get the ball and put it in the bucket. And really, really special what Wembanyama's turned into. And honestly, this Spurs team is really starting to come together. 18-7 this year, and you think back a couple of years ago when Greg Popovich left, and the core that we all knew as the Spurs was ever since Kawhi Leonard left them and went to Toronto. They were really, at the bottom of the Western Conference Finals. But now they've drafted really well. They've found a superstar in Stephon Castle, who was their number 4 overall pick in the 2024 draft, and he's really becoming a really valuable piece for them in the backcourt. And the Spurs are going to cause some issues for teams down the line, especially in the Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah, they will. And, obviously people were wondering whether this is the year Wemby takes that leap, because you look at what they've done with their lineup. They bring in De'Aaron Fox. You mentioned they've drafted well with Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle. A little lottery luck, and they're not going to lie. I think all of those picks were elevated from where they were supposed to be. But either way, they drafted well. They got some pretty good lottery luck, and, sometimes you need a little bit of luck to go with your picks, and that's exactly what happened with the San Antonio Spurs. And they went out in free agency and got a big Luke Cornett to defend the paint and be more of a true center to Victor Wembanyama, who's more of doesn't have the girth.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have the.
He's got length. He's got height. He's everything, but he's not.
Yes,
big.
Very, very slender. But I think I saw a tweet the other day about asking if James I wonder what James Naismith would envision if he envisioned a 7'4" freak athlete center that could handle the ball and shoot threes like Victor Wembanyama, because the only way to really guard him is probably to get physical with him because of his slender frame. Yeah. You can't let him get free space. You got to eat up any type of space, get in him, try to deny him the ball, despite, probably not succeeding because he's 7'4", so he's got a pretty large wingspan. But, he's just so hard to defend. And, people are talking about that next leap for Victor Wembanyama, and it looks like he is taking that leap. He's one of the best, the NBA's best rim protectors. Obviously, he's a threat. Going to the rim is a lob threat. He could shoot the 3 ball. Pretty good jump shooter as well. I think Alex Caruso was trying to defend him, and he hit a fadeaway mid-range jumper. He's just so hard to defend. But yeah, this Spurs team, they've got guys. They're certainly going to be one of the premier contenders in the Western Conference, trying to battle the Thunder for that spot. But hey, any team who knocks off the Thunder is going to earn the respect of some teams around the league. Although I think the only other team to beat the Thunder, if I'm not mistaken, was it the Toronto Raptors? Or no.
The other team that beat the OKC Thunder were the Trailblazers by 2 points.
I know, yes, the Trailblazers, and then the Spurs obviously a little bit better than the Trailblazers this year. But, yeah, he's going to give a lot of teams fits because, he's one of those players. How do you guard him? 7'4".
You don't.
You can't.
you don't.
And you need a mobile 7-footer to guard him.
Yeah.
You can't have someone
that's slow on their feet.
Yeah, you can't have a cinder block center guarding him.
In this case, I mean, you'll have Karl Anthony Towns as the big fella, and I know height wise, I think Towns.
I don't think you can match. You can't match.
I mean, Towns is
6'4".
6'11". You can't match that. He's gonna be 5 or 6 inches shorter than him, but Towns, he's more mobile, I would say, than a normal 6'11" guy. He can move a little bit. He stretches the floor offensively, and I think defensively he could probably hold his own. And then they have Mitch Robinson off the bench. The Knicks are.
See, now it's
gonna be a lot of Karl Anthony Towns trying to slow down Wembanyama tonight.
Sure, Anunoby will get his shot.
He'll try, yeah. Anunoby is one of the best defenders in the NBA. They've put together a really good season as well. I think they're also 18-7 this year, and Brunson's averaging 29. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns has 25, 12 rebounds per game. They're putting up some good numbers as well. I was thinking about this earlier today when it comes to this matchup, and again, no implications whatsoever when it comes to the actual NBA season. This is all for financial. A fun little trophy, and maybe you'll get a banner. I think the Lakers put up a banner.
Yep, they did.
Lovely. Yeah. Money's involved. You can win money if you win this game. But who is it more important for to win this game between the Knicks or the Spurs as it goes for the rest of the season? That's the question I was thinking about in my head earlier today, because I'm trying to think of the two teams. The Knicks, they've had success. They've been a top 4 team in the East the last couple of years. They've made runs in the postseason, which is great. And if they can win a championship, if they can win some sort of championship, which they haven't done in over 50 years at this point, I go talk to some of my Knicks friends. They're going to be like, that's a ring. That's a ring if they win it tonight. But then you think about the Spurs, and they really haven't seen that type of success in a while. And if they can make their mark and be like, we just beat the OKC Thunder, and then we proceed to beat the second best team in the Eastern Conference and win the NBA Cup championship, the way they're playing as a collective, I think that for them is much more important than the Knicks winning this game tonight. Just because of the confidence it gives you moving forward. Like, all right, we can beat anyone in the league on any given night. We have that ability on this roster. Depth-wise, we're led by our superstar 21-year-old in Wembanyama. I think this is it's more of an advantage if you're the San Antonio Spurs to win this over the New York Knicks. I think there's benefits for both teams, but in my personal opinion, I think it means more if you're the Spurs and you can win the cup tonight.
I actually disagree. I think it's more important for the New York Knicks. I think if you're the Spurs, we just beat the best team in basketball. I mean, let's be real here. That if we're talking about, that was probably the finals game. Did you look on the other side? What was it? Knicks Magic.
Yeah.
On the other side, Knicks aren't the Thunder. Knicks are a good team. Again, Knicks are second best team in the East, but the Western Conference is light years ahead of the Eastern Conference, at least in my opinion, in terms of how deep these teams go. Because I think there's at least 4 or 5. There's probably the top 4 or 5 teams you can make an argument. Obviously, OKC is the top dog, but I think there's some teams under them that could make a run and give the Thunder a run for their money. I don't feel the same way about the Eastern Conference. I think if you're the Knicks, yes, you've been one of the best teams in terms of record over the last, 3-4 years in terms of getting to the playoffs, having success there, but you've yet to get over that hump. You had a chance last year against the Pacers. Didn't do it. You allowed the Pacers back into the series and the Pacers to win that series. There's been talks about this team's struggles in the postseason. They haven't been able to get over that last hump and get to the finals despite them having Brunson, them having Karl Anthony Towns, them having OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, them having a pretty solid team that should, in reality, probably get you to the NBA Finals, particularly last year against the Pacers. I think it's more important for the Knicks. I think they need to see them. I think they need to introduce themselves, at least to the Western Conference. I think this is an important game for the Eastern Conference as well, because you're looking at it like the Eastern Conference just doesn't have that same magnitude as the Western Conference. So I think the Knicks right now need to prove to them and the rest of the NBA, hey, the Eastern Conference is good. You know, we may not have the depth that you guys have, but our top tier, that includes the Knicks, the Pistons right now, who I think are sitting at 20-5.
They have 20 wins this year, yep.
So they're off to a really hot start. But I think it's more important for this Knicks team to go out there and prove to the rest of the NBA that, hey, the Eastern Conference, we're no slouches. We're going to go out there and beat the team that just beat the Western Conference OKC Thunder that have just 2 losses on the year. So I actually think I get where you're coming from with Victor Wembanyama, them having a young team, them having to prove to the rest of the NBA and say, hey, we've arrived. But I think for the Knicks' sake and for the Eastern Conference's sake, I think it's a more important game for the Knicks here and them having to prove to the rest of the league, hey, like we could, you know, we've had some good seasons, haven't been able to get over the hump. Well, this year you're going to have to look out for us, and especially in a banged-up Eastern Conference.
Either team is going to have to find a way to beat OKC 4 times come April and May and June with the way the Thunder have looked. And, you know, I think the Knicks, you look at the top teams in the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers haven't looked – they were a lot of people's picks
Wizards
to come out of the
run
East.
For their money.
The Wizards did – you were not very happy with me because I said the Wizards were looking really good there. And I looked at my phone again, and it was a 2-point lead.
I told you, I'm like, it is not over. You don't know this team. This team likes blowing leads late in games. And sure enough, I think they're up like 16 at that point. I'm not sure, somewhere around there. And sure enough, they end up blowing the game. Donovan Mitchell has like, 33 in the second half.
He had 38, 48 for the game.
They couldn't stop him, and their late game offense was atrocious. CJ McCollum was like at 4 points and 2 for 8 in the fourth quarter. And they run ISO, yeah.
4-20 this season.
Yep, they gotta win after that though. They beat the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, you gotta be riding high after you take one of the best teams in the East.
And they, I think, allowed a team under. They didn't allow over 100, or they didn't allow over 90 or 100 points for the first time in 4 years.
That defense is improving.
Yes, and they're supposed to be getting some of their key pieces: Sar, Koulibaly, Corey Kispert back within the next 10 days. The front office said they expect them back within the next 10 days. They're being extra cautious with Alex Sar.
When you look at the entire Eastern Conference, and I have the standings pulled up right in front of me, the Knicks are in a position, going back to your point you were bringing up, they're 13-1 at home this season. And to get a top 3 seed would be huge because you'd be guaranteeing probably 2 rounds where you're at least home, maybe 3 in the playoffs. And then the other teams in the East are not familiar to the postseason. The Pistons, they made it last year, and you know they were in the 3-6 matchup as a 6 seed.
I think against the Knicks.
It was the Knicks. You're right. Yes, and they took them 6 games, I believe it was.
I believe it was 6.
New York ended up winning that series, but they've looked really strong. The Raptors will be brand new. This is a roster in Toronto that would be brand new to the playoffs. The Celtics are obviously without Tatum, but they still have everyone else. The Magic, another relatively new team. The Sixers, they haven't really seen much playoff success recently. We're still really early into the season, but the Knicks, I think, could have a great opportunity to make a run in the East this year and represent the conference in the NBA Finals, just looking at what teams are still there. What baffles me is poor Chicago. They were, at the start of the season, I think they started 7-1. They were balling, and now they're out. They're not out of the play-in tournament at this point. They're down to 11 in the Eastern Conference. 10-15, 2-8 in their last 10. Same with Milwaukee. They're having issues as well.
And they're without Giannis.
Ugly.
Things are getting ugly there in Milwaukee.
Even when he was on the floor, they weren't winning many games.
Weren't.
And there's a reason that his name is being thrown around in trade rumors. But again, I mean, you look at the Western Conference and how different it is. The 6 seed is 17-9 in the Timberwolves, and it's just such a competitive Western Conference.
Yeah, you look at the East, the 6th seed is that 14-11 76ers.
Your Philadelphia 76ers.
Yes.
Good season for them. The Wizards, 30th out of 30 teams in the NBA.
What are we, 7 games? Or are we? Yeah, there we are. Worst point differential in the NBA. It's okay.
Minus 13.9.
Yeah, we'll get a 126.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, worse than the NBA.
The defense will improve. It'll improve.
Hopefully.
You got to slowly build. That's what a rebuild process is all about.
They've
been in a rebuild for a while.
It's been a little bit.
All right. Let's get one last break in on 28-22 Sports Night so that we aren't scrambling last minute as we usually do. It's usually on me. It's my fault.
Sometimes it's on
I'll take blame on that. What'd you say?
Sometimes it's on me. Lose track of time.
You're being a great teammate here, but you know sometimes me.
Yeah.
You're thinking in your head when it's 8:50 and I'm rambling about God knows whatever. He's like, please toss it to break, Nick. Let's get a break and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Few minutes left on the show here on this Tuesday night at 28-22 Sports Night. We were talking about Notre Dame the other night and just recently, a few minutes ago actually, Jeremiah Love officially declaring for the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Not a shocker to many. He'll probably be the number one running back off the board this year. And you know what? Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs go after Jeremiah Love. I saw.
They would be in position.
They
at the
would
rate
be
they're going.
because they'll have what? The Chiefs will probably be around that 11 to 14 range.
That's where I've seen them most. Again, obviously, you have to see where it played. Do they lose all three? They're playing the Titans this week. Titans are really bad.
Poor
I know the Chiefs aren't playing well, but I'd imagine they'll get the win.
We had the discussion a couple months ago about who's the worst team in the NFL. Raiders or Titans? Are you still going with Tennessee?
Did I say Tennessee?
I was very optimistic that the Raiders were the worst team in the NFL, and you were still leaning Tennessee was really bad. Would you flip that after watching the Raiders and Eagles this weekend?
I might.
It's bad. They're both atrocious.
They're both bad, but I mean, y'all like Cam Ward. I like Cam. I think Cam Ward has been unfairly ridiculed thus far.
It's tough when you have the offensive line and the weapons around him that you have. No names.
The weapon, yeah. They also, again, I'm thanking them also because they gave Dan Moore a hefty contract, so we get a compensatory pick for Dan Moore. But yeah, I mean, the weapons he has, I like Chigakonkwo. I like him as a tight end, but Jakime Dike, it seems like
he's been good recently.
It seems like he's a solid piece for them to build on in that core. I don't think he's a one, but still a good piece. Calvin Ridley's banged up. I might give it to the Raiders. I see it.
They're bad.
Brock Bowers has sort of been banged up a lot. That offensive line might be worse than Tennessee's because at least Tennessee has attempted. They had J.C. Latham, Skoronski solid. Dan Moore they thought was going to be something, but obviously not. Their defense is solid. I think their defense is solid. I wouldn't say their defense is good against the run. Tennessee,
it's above average.
It's above. The pass is a little bit of a different story. I think the Raiders have the better building blocks with Crosby and Genty and Bowers, but as a whole, it might be the Raiders.
Football is an 11-on-11 sport.
Yeah, I think now the Titans are still bad.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying
still
that the Titans are a good team,
but they've got some. They fill in the middle a little bit better than because I think the Raiders have that better top end players.
How on earth do you total 75 freaking yards in a game?
Kenny Pickett, man.
Oh my gosh.
Kenny Pickett's a check down master. 15, what do you have? 25 attempts, 69 yards.
It was his QBR was atrocious. I was looking.
Yeah, you're rough.
It
was a bad pick. Bad.
What was a bad pick?
Steelers picking him in the first round.
Oh. Well, you know what? He's the hometown kid. He's coming from Pittsburgh. He had a good career, and there's a lot of optimism. You can't predict down the line.
I was adamant on Temple's college radio show. I do not want this guy. He's a sixth-year guy. It was the freaking fake slide. If he didn't do that fake slide against Wake Forest.
Do you remember that? Oh my God, the world went ballistic when that happened.
And then the thing about it is he played so damn well in the preseason. I at that point was even like, okay, you might need to start this guy at the rate he's going because he played so darn well in the preseason. like in his first 2 years, the guy he's the best. I'll say this again. He's the best preseason QB I've ever seen. The guy's great. The regular season, not it.
15 for 25, 64 passing yards, 1 interception, 4 sacks, a 6.2 QBR, and a rating of 47.9. I'm pretty sure the worst rating you can get is like 32. So it's pretty darn close.
He was bad. Like, again, I get it. Their offensive line sucks. I know Chris Matthews was on it. Their offensive line's bad. He didn't help.
No, he did not.
He did not.
They also,
really help.
They just didn't have the football either. 42 plays to Philly's 66 on Sunday.
I mean, Pete Carroll said they couldn't convert on third down. He said it's been the story of their season.
Kept punting.
They couldn't keep the ball. And again, because that was the first time Pittsburgh this year has outran a team in the number of plays they ran. That's the first time all year Pittsburgh has done that.
They didn't even reach the red zone.
Yeah, no, they were. I turned that
awful.
off. That game was 17-0. I was watching. I'm like, I'm leaving. Like, this game's over.
Bad. Wow.
I don't think the Philly didn't even run the ball great. At least Saquon
No, that's what you were
Barkley
saying.
did.
Saquon had a decent stat line, but it wasn't productive.
Yeah, no, it wasn't productive. I don't think that they didn't amaze me. Obviously, they win the game. They give themselves confidence, but
Hurts only threw the ball 15 times.
No, exactly. They literally just did the bare minimum getting those first downs. And then I think they had a late deep shot to A.J. Brown in the second half to sort of, keep him happy because he only had 2 receptions in that game.
Who do they have? Oh, they have the Texans this weekend, the Raiders.
The Texans are hot, too. Oh, God.
They might not score again.
No, Kenny.
When's the last time a team got shut out in back-to-back weeks?
It might happen this week.
What?
That Texans?
I'm saying that might happen this week. When was the last time it happened?
I don't know, but
we'd have to figure that out.
The only way is if the Raiders get a turnover.
Yeah, if they somehow score a pick six. Because, the Eagles' defense, yes, it's been good. But Houston's defense is being talked about as the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
Up there with Denver. Oh, poor Kenny Pickett. Those numbers.
Is he going again?
If I'm Geno Smith, I'm telling Coach, I'm done.
Against that pass rush? Yeah.
I've taken my beat. Yeah, oh my gosh. If I'm Geno, I am going to the most comfortable suite up top and watching in my sweats and hoodie. I'm not suiting up. I've done my fair share of the first 3 months of the season.
Yeah.
That poor team, man. Actually, bias aside, I feel bad. Bias included. I don't feel bad whatsoever.
They weren't going to be good, but as Chris Matthews said, they were going to be around that middle tier range, probably.
Yeah, Nick Wright had them as a playoff team.
Well, again, Nick Wright's Nick Wright. Each their own, but
exactly. Yeah, his standings, you got to flip them around to have them correct.
Denver's in first.
12-2. All right.
Yep.
We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of 28-22 Sports Night. And, make sure to come back here in the 28-22 Now. We'll see you then.